In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to create this coffee kettle commercial right here.
This is the best kettle we've ever made. Actually, this is the best kettle anyone's ever made. Introducing Stag EKG Pro and Pro Studio Edition, precision engineered for the perfect pour. Now, completely customizable with powerful features on a full color screen. Customize everything for however you brew, whenever you brew. The new Stag EKG Pro and Pro Studio Edition. Because even icons evolve.
I was recently hired by Fellow Products to create a product video for their Fellow Stag EKG Pro and Pro Studio kettles. They're going to be using these videos for their product launch. And so I wanted to create a reveal, something that's gonna be exciting. So we're gonna go from dark to bright, revealing the kettle. So I'm gonna break down how I lit this and how I created this hero shot right here. To create this reveal shot, the first thing that I have is I have a black background paper, and this is by Savage. Everything that I'm gonna be using today, I will have a link in the description so you guys can purchase it if you want, or just get an idea so eventually if you want to create something like this. So I have a black background, but using just a black background on a black product, your product can get lost. So I wanted to create some imagery and some contrast, because the more you create contrast, the more sharper your shot's going to look and the more professional it's going to look. So there's two things that I'm doing to create some contrast. First, let me turn off this light. And I'm gonna showcase this. It's gonna be a little hard to see just because I have a lot of lights on so you can see me right now. But I just have a NAND light tube right here, and I have it pointing straight up in the air. And what that's creating is creating kind of a round circular gradient, and it's gonna grow with the power of the light. So the first thing that I do is I'm just gonna turn this on like this, and that's gonna have the light grow. And while I'm doing that, I'm filming this first shot. Then the next step to this reveal and creating this cool movement with the light is I have my NAND light. This is actually NAND Light 4's a 60C full color, but you can use a bicolor or you can just use just the daylight. And what I have on the top of it is, or the front of it, is a projector. And what this projector does is it allows me to cut my light and shape my light. So if I turn it on right now, I can turn it on like this, and I can start grabbing these right here, and I can adjust the light. And it can go from circular to a straight line. And I like creating a straight line because it has this edgy, high-tech look. So now I'm gonna show you guys the lights that I'm using for the kettle. And this is the last key component to create this 3-sequence shot. And what I'm doing is, the first light that I have is, I have a top light. Can you see me still? First light I have is a top light right here. And the importance of this top light is because it's gonna showcase the front of this kettle, but I also have a diffusion right here. So this is the Matthews diffusion, and I have this one right here because this is great for being a top light. I'm gonna lower this and get it as close as I can to my kettle to create this nice soft light on the front. But that is just to light the front of the kettle. The other two lights that I have that are really key and important are gonna create the shape and the curves of the product itself. And I have my aperture light right back here with a rectangular diffusion. And the whole point of this light is, as you can see, I have it angled right at the back right here. So it's hitting here and creating a nice smooth line. So when the front of the camera is shooting it, all it shows is a silhouette edge light of the product itself. And I just have that duplicated on the other side. And that's really the key. You're gonna wanna have two lights angled behind each other, one top light, and all those lights are gonna turn on at the same time for our shot. The last thing to get this all done is right here. I'm filming this all on my Canon R5 with a 100mm macro. To create this shot, it's actually gonna be 3 steps. The first thing I wanna do though is I wanna aim my camera in the proper place. I have it directly center, and I actually have my camera lower than the product, looking up at the product. And the reason for this is gonna give the product this heroic feeling. As you notice, I have the camera on sticks or on a tripod. The camera's not gonna be moving at all. I'm gonna do all the movement in post. You can do this with a robotic slider if you want, but I'm gonna show you guys just how to do it with this, and it's a lot easier. So I'm gonna turn off all the lights, and I'm gonna only start with the NAND light tube light and turn that up. And that's gonna create that glow and show the silhouette, and that's our first section. Then from there, I'm gonna take my Nanlite projector background light, and I'm going to unveil it with using a piece of cardboard, or unveil it. I'm gonna unveil it using a piece of cardboard, and that's gonna make the line in the background grow. So first we're gonna have the background light glow up, and then we're gonna have our line cut across, and then lastly, I'm gonna get a shot with all these lights turned on. And then I'm gonna blend those 3 shots together while doing a scaling position as one shot, and it's gonna go boom, 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 boom. Now let's dive into the next shot, and that's no pun intended. All right, so the next shot I'm gonna show you guys is my tracking falling shot that I've come up with that makes you look like you're using a high-end robot. So the first thing is I'm using an Ursa Pro G2, and I'm shooting this at 300 frames on a crop sensor at 1080p. Now it's not the best slow motion camera, but it's what I have, and this is what I'm gonna use. The next most important thing is you want a wide lens, and you're gonna lock off your focus for this. I'm using an IRIX 15mm cinema lens for this, and I'm gonna have the focus locked at a distance, and I'll show you guys in a second what I do to do that. So I'm gonna take 2 plates. I already have one attached to the bottom, and luckily with a camera like this, I can just take another plate and attach it right to the top right here. So I'm just gonna screw this in. Then I'm gonna take this cheap little tripod head that I have right here, and I'm gonna connect it like this. Oops, if it was on. All right, and then I'm gonna point this directly to the back, like that. Make sure everything's nice and tight. And I'm gonna take a C-stand arm, and other side, screw it in like so. And then I'm gonna do the same exact thing with another tripod head. In 1 second, let's lock this all off. Boom, boom, everything's locked. I'm gonna rotate this. I'm gonna connect one more tripod arm. Then I'm gonna connect this tripod head to the bottom, right where your base plate typically, if I can not say that word, well, it would be typically. All right, click, click. Now, you don't need an Ursa or this heavy of a camera to do this. You can definitely do this with your R5 or a DSLR shooting at 120 frames, because you can make this look actually super slow motion, because when you're tracking something and moving at the same speed, it's gonna slow it down quite a bit. Here is my final rig, like this. And the reason why I have it like this is because I'm literally going to let go and catch. And the reason for that is gravity. Everything falls at the same rate as long as there's no wind resistance. For example, like feathers and stuff like that. Physics, I don't know, we learned that in physics, I think. Don't quote me, I'm not a scientist. But if Kendall's gonna pour the water for this next shot, I can fall at exactly the same speed if we count off and we go 1, 2, 3, and catch. Boom, that's simple, let's go do it. First things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my focus. And the way that I do that is I'm gonna set it and lock it off. I'm gonna get as close to where I wanna end, which is right here, and then I'm gonna have Kendall pull the focus for me. So I'm gonna have her pull the focus so that the top of the kettle or the object is in focus. Once that's done like so, boom, I'm gonna go all the way up like this, and then I'm gonna have Kendall come into frame with the water, higher, higher. Make sure that you're at a good spot for pouring, a little bit lower. And then I'm gonna have you rotate Kendall over there so we don't hit each other. Perfect, just like that. And then we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna let go and I'm gonna give it a little bit of a twist and then catch again. It's gonna take a few tries to do this, but if you do it right, it's gonna look amazing. Ready, Kendall?
Problem.
What?
Twisted and thinking it should be on that corner.
Okay, that's perfect then. See? And that's why you have a solid assistant. Usually I do this with Alex, as you guys all know Alex, so. All right, ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. And you're gonna keep wanting to do repetition and go faster and faster. We're gonna do one more now. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. And that's it. Super simple. The shot I'm gonna show you right now is how to create an awesome shadow for your commercials. And the way that we're gonna do this is a little bit different than people normally would do. And the reason for that is because I wanna control the shadow. And when you control things and you make things look smoothly, that's gonna make them look cinematic. And the idea is we're gonna have our camera facing top down, and we're gonna have the iconic shadow of the kettle grow onto the board, and we're gonna get a shot of it. And the way that we're gonna do that is, first we need to set up a rig, an arm that's gonna swing with the light so that we can start top down, and as the light drops down, then the shadow grows. And I want it to be super, super smooth. I built this little thing right here off of just a hinge for a door, plus a little hitch, locking hitch, and bolted it together. And we're gonna attach that to the table right here. And then we're gonna build out our arm using C-stand. So let's do it. All right, the reason why we have that pin or the locking gate lock onto the door hinge is because I can attach the knuckle. And now we're gonna take a C-stand arm, go up this way, do another knuckle and C-stand arm so we can have the light directly above our product. Right now I have the Nanlite FS60B. You're gonna want a light light because non-heavy light because it's gonna be going up above top and we need it to swing and we just need to be able to control it. I have that with the Nanlite projection attachment. This is gonna allow us to control our light to create the shape to make that shadow. So let's do it. For the shot, I've mounted the camera onto a C-stand to create the vertical shot. If you guys haven't learned how to do that, or you haven't seen all my tutorials, literally just take a C-stand. You can take your tripod head and screw it on and then just mount it like you would normally, but now it's pointing down. You just have to make sure that you're steady and control when you're doing your light. Otherwise it's gonna be shaky. Just nice, steady movements. And then I'm using cement board that's painted black for texture for the bottom. That's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content like this. And remember, go try these techniques and practice as much as you can. And if you follow along, I promise you, you can take your business from making no money and 0 clients to making money and booking out clients just like me.
This is the best kettle we've ever made. Actually, this is the best kettle anyone's ever made. Introducing Stag EKG Pro and Pro Studio Edition, precision engineered for the perfect pour. Now, completely customizable with powerful features on a full color screen. Customize everything for however you brew, whenever you brew. The new Stag EKG Pro and Pro Studio Edition. Because even icons evolve.